Hey guys, so if we haven't met before, I'm Natasha from English with Nat, and I wanted to just go on here live really quick and talk about this interesting article that I read recently in Business Insider. So, I do teach English for professionals. I teach English for like young managers or just people who are at entry level positions and who are looking to advance in their careers. Hi, Lucas. And I basically try to, incorporate both my passion for teaching and knowledge of English with some of the self-improvement and self-development strategies or tactics that I think could also help people get better in their careers. So, in addition to my passion for teaching, I also have quite extensive education in business. So I have my undergrad in business, I have master's in executive leadership, and then I have my MBA degree. So I'm always reading these articles and books about self-improvement and self-development. So, I just came across something recently, and like I said, online, I think it was on businessinsider.com. And it's actually an article about phrases that make you sound less experienced in the workplace. So, what that means is that we sometimes, we don't pay attention to these things and we just say these phrases over and over again. But in reality, the way people perceive that, sometimes they can think of us as less experienced or less powerful, even in our positions. So let's see, hopefully this will be interesting for some of you. Uh, Basically, no matter what kind of job you do or how experienced you are, you will always have a boss and you will always have your peers, so people equal to you. And what you want to do is you want to appear powerful and you want to appear confident. So there are some tricks that you can do that, especially with your communication style. So I have some notes here just to make sure I don't miss anything. So let's get started. The first phrase that you should avoid using in the workplace, especially, is "I don't know." Right? So even of course there will be things that you don't know. We know there will be things that you need to get more information on, but you never really want to answer to your colleague or your boss with "I don't know." What you do want to say instead is offer something that you do know. So for example, you can say, "I'll have to check on that, but what I do know is that the report went out on Friday," for example. So just switch it around, focus on the facts that you know, and briefly mention that you will have to check on the question that the person was asking about. So really try to stay away from using "I don't know," because it sounds like you have maybe like you're not even up for the job, or you have no idea what's going on, which is not good. So secondly, what you want to avoid is saying "I have to ask my boss." Now, like I said, we all, have a boss or have had a boss, and even the CEO has the board of directors that he has to, get approval from or get permission from. But we don't have to advertise these things that we have no authority to make a decision or to say something. So one of the tricks or one of the good ways that you can avoid that, and instead of saying "I have to ask my boss," you can say, "Let me run this by my team." Okay, so, or let me see what my team thinks about it, or what my department thinks about it. And then of course you buy some, it sounds like you're not the only decision maker, but it doesn't sound like you are the person who has zero authority. It sounds like you're part of the decision making group. So again, it makes you appear more powerful and more confident in your position. So I personally like this one because sometimes, people say, "Oh, I have to ask my boss," and then the whole conversation turns to this boss, and it just sounds like you really have no say in anything. So even if that's true, you kind of want to get around and not really mention that so much. Another helpful tip was, mentioning your job title all the time. So this is especially true if you're an entry level person or somewhere, closer to the bottom. So, and if you're talking to partners or clients, you don't have to always say like, oh, I'm a junior person, I just started, I'm a junior marketing associate, for example. You can say, I work in marketing. That's enough. It's not like you're lying. It's not like you're not telling the truth, but you don't have to disclose that you're still that you have just started or that you're still at a lower position, because that may not be true for a long time. You may, advance in your career, and you want to also appear like a person with a little more authority when speaking to the third parties. So like I said, instead of saying I'm a junior marketing assistant, just say I'm in marketing or I work in the marketing department. That's just good enough. All right. Another thing that I see with people quite a lot is when they say like, I'm available whenever is convenient for you. Or I live in Italy now, so I work with a lot of Italians, and they say this thing, I am at your disposal. And sometimes really when you translate, I think in Italian this makes sense, but when you translate this to English, it's like, it does not sound okay. Like, it's just wrong. I'm at your disposal is horrible. So also, I'm available whenever is convenient for you is not very good, because you're really not available. Like, what if this person wants to call you or see you at 5 in the morning? You're not available whenever is convenient for them. So instead of saying that, what you can say, I am available to answer any questions you may have over email or over the phone, or to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays afternoon, for example. So this does two things. It says that you have things going on, that you're just not always exactly, Lucas. People are like, what if they call you like in the middle of the night? You're not available. So don't say that, because it appears that you have nothing going on. So just be like available, but specific, like I'm available on Tuesdays or whatever, or Tuesdays afternoon. Many times I see in emails at the end, at the bottom of the email, people would say like, oh, I'm available I'm at your disposal for anything you might need. Again, wrong. You are not at my disposal, and not for anything that I need. So that's just doesn't sound professional. So it's just best to avoid things like that. And just keep professional, and either mention when you're available for, and sign off an email with best regards, let me know if I can help, and that's it. I hope that resonates with some of you, because I really hate when I see I'm at your disposal. I mean, just like, what does that even mean? All right, another thing, number 5 would be, I hope to hear from you soon. Okay, so that sounds very polite, like I hope to hear from you soon, but it could give a perception like, oh my gosh, like I'm so desperate to hear from this person. So again, instead of saying that, you could easily replace I hope to hear from you soon with looking forward to hearing from you. Or, or just sign off an email with sincerely or kind regards, best regards, something like that. So let's just avoid hope, because that gives an impression of like a little bit of a desperation. And if you're trying to position yourself in a workplace as a confident, powerful professional, or among your peers, you really don't want to give any signs of like being desperate for anything. So let's just eliminate hope once and for all. And last but not least, and I really like this one, is to reduce the use of I and me. Okay, so both in conversation and in emails. So from the psychological point of view, using less of me and I in your sentences will leave the impression that you are more powerful and more confident. So I'll give you some examples, okay? I have, this is directly from the article, okay? So it says, there's a sentence that says, I would be so grateful if you would consider meeting with me next month. Okay, so we have, I would be so grateful if you would consider with me next month. Instead, a more professional way to say this would be, I'm very interested in your work and I would love to meet you in person. Okay, so now you are, instead of saying meeting with me, you say would love to meet with you. So you're putting the focus on that person and not on yourself, right? So because you're the one that wants a favor from them. Another example, would you be available for a meeting next month? So you can also, so you can say, it would be great to learn more about your work and meet in person. All right, so I think, you know, these are some of the ones that sound more professional, and the sort of like the expert advice is to minimize or reduce the use of I and me in both verbal and written communication. So this is, so this is it. This is what I thought would be kind of useful and interesting for you guys. And so again, just to repeat, the first one would be eliminate saying and answering with I don't know. Try to not to say I have to ask my boss for every single thing that you don't have the you know, the authority over decision making. You don't have to mention your job title every chance you get, especially if you are holding an entry-level position. Do not say I am available whenever is convenient for you, or I am at your disposal, because that just does not sound professional, confident, or powerful. I hope to hear from you soon. Like was said, it's polite, but it sort of sounds a little bit desperate. So instead of hope, just say I'm looking forward to. It's probably better. And last but not least, reduce the use of I and me in all forms of communication, and instead put the spotlight on the project or on the person you're talking to. So these are some of the little tips and tricks that I found on Business Advisor that I thought might be helpful for you. And the name of the article was Phrases That Make You Sound Less Experienced Than You Are. So the whole idea was to utilize these tips so that you can position yourself as a confident professional among your peers and in front of your supervisors, and then hopefully, you know, advance at your job if you're also very good at your job and if you speak good English. So, all right, so that would be it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon again. All right, thanks. Bye.